Hello, welcome back. This is Craig. Today I'm going to talk about how to take a color photograph and turn it into a black and white photograph using Photoshop's black and white adjustment layer. So instead of just going up under image and mode and saying, well, I like grayscale, I'll just choose grayscale, you have more control over that. So I'm starting with an RGB file. This is basically the RGB file is your native JPEG that you get out of most digital cameras, unless you're shooting in the fancy camera raw. So we have the photograph up, and we'll go under the adjustment layer. We will choose black and white. Black and white will pop up, and it will convert it to black and white. But what it does is this is still an RGB file. It just adds an adjustment layer, so this is non-destructive. I can turn this off. The adjustment layer, you notice that I still have my original photograph. It hasn't been altered. So I'm given all these controls up here, and now I can look at my reds, yellows, greens, cyans, blues, and magentas. It's picking those up in the original photograph. So this has a lot of red and yellow in here in the Wienermobile. It's also a little bit of red and yellow in his shirt. So what I'm going to do is just use my eye again. No magic in Photoshop. If you want, you can use a little bit of magic and click Auto and see where that gets you. That gives you a pretty good start. But when you go through here, you might notice some of the areas you want to darken or lighten. I notice the greens in the trees back here. If I change that, I can make those darker or lighter. I kind of like them a little bit lighter because they give it a little more contrast with the background. Look at my yellows. I can brighten the yellows, darken the yellows. This, of course, is awful, but we'll brighten those up just a little bit. Remember not to blast anything out too much. You always want a little bit of gray. Go with reds. I want to darken the reds just a little bit. Magentas. I'm mostly noticing the magentas here in the window frames right here. So I actually like that. These are too light. This gives it a little more contrast when I darken those quite a bit. I like that. Blues. Same thing with the blues. It darkens the windows a little bit and a little bit up in the sky. So that is how you have a lot of control to change a color photograph into a black and white. Now, they also have some custom settings up here, some preset settings that will allow you to do different filters. And if you're used to using filters with your photography, these mimic that. And they will change it to a lot of different custom looks. I'll let you kind of go through those. The other thing you can do is you can add a tint to this, which we call a duotone. So if I click tint, if you want to make that sepia tone feel like the old brown photographs, I can add that and just choose kind of a brown in here. And that's a little too yellow. A little more brown. There we go. Now we have more of that sepia tone, older photograph. But you can put any kind of a duotone effect over this to make it, you could match a brand color. Sometimes you'll see a black and white photograph with different colors on a catalog where they just want to put a whole bunch of flashy colors over top of black and white photographs. You can do this way as well. Gives it some kind of cool looks. And I have seen this used quite a bit in catalog work and website covers. And just deselect tint if you want to take that away. So, using Photoshop, that is how we adjust a color photograph to a black and white. I hope that helps. Thank you.